One of the reasons I'm so passionate about social media is, in no small way, it has changed my life. What's your mission statement? What's your vision? And how well do you align your business practices to those, guiding principles?
Hi, I'm Bruno Aziza, and today I'm meeting with Mike, who is the president of Fresh Consulting. Thank you very much for your time,
Absolutely.
Mike. Now, when you think about social media, you might think about it as a very serious business, and often you want to draw the line between the business part versus the personal part. But I think, Mike, you have a very personal story on how you identify to what social media can be. Can you take us through that?
I can. So one of the reasons I'm so passionate about social media is, in no small way, it has changed my life. If I can explain, my first wife passed away from breast cancer. And as she was going through that process of chemotherapy and all that process, I decided to create a blog. And that blog just shared the thoughts of my heart, what was going on with Deborah and her prognosis. It wasn't good, and it wasn't getting any better. And I thought, well, when people started reading this blog and interacting with it, I didn't want them to be crying every time, and it's a tough thing to read. So I thought, well, let me create a little different engagement with them. I started telling them stories about how when we were first married, some funny things that would make them laugh, just to get to know us better as a couple. And then I thought, well, let me also share about our kids, our faith, and how we're getting through this really trying time. And what happens is when you create a blog entry, obviously it's a two-way communication. So people started writing me back, and the communications I would receive back from them were phenomenal and very, very helpful to me. Oftentimes these entries were written right at Deborah's side, in the hospital or whether she was at home suffering with this terrible tumor. And it was very empowering, and I couldn't understand the strength of it then, but go forward a few months. Some friends of mine, after Deborah passed away, they said, you need to start dating. And I'm like, how can I even think of that, right? But they said, we got some friends coming into town. So they actually had me go to Nordstrom and said you had to have a makeover. So I went through the what not to wear thing and totally redid my wardrobe because I dressed like an old dad. So when I started dating, I actually went online. Yeah. And the first girl I met was Amy. And Amy read the blog that I created for Deborah. Before we ever met in person, Amy read that blog. And she said, she got a view into my heart. It wasn't written to advertise myself as a single male. It was written as a trial that I was going through, and she saw that. And that indicated to her that I was a guy that she wanted to marry.
And 86 days?
It was 86 days. We don't tell many people that, but now it's on the show. But yeah, from the day we met to the day we got married was 86 days.
That's a beautiful story. I think what it teaches us here is often we think of social media as something that we need to treat as a traditional marketing medium where you have to think about acting differently than who you really are. And here you really have the opportunity of thinking about your audience and the ability to really express yourself as an individual. You were telling me earlier, Sarah, who is one of the presenters here from REI, is saying that she can go to work and be herself. And I think that's a big lesson. When you think about social media, don't just think about scaling relationship management, but there's a notion of authenticity in the message. Yeah. When you think about what organizations are doing and what they're learning about that, where do you see the best practices here in using social media?
Oh, that's a great question. I think, first of all, that word you use, authenticity, is very critical. What are the brands? What are they trying to become? Who do they want to be? And we see many brands that still struggle with that identity crisis a little bit. So you have to kind of figure that out. What's your mission statement? What's your vision? And how well do you align your business practices to those guiding principles first? Then it becomes very easy, or easier, I should say, to start engaging socially. Because really, as a salesperson, a traditional salesperson, that's my background, my goal is to engage or meet with as many people as possible. Being in social world and creating content, whether it's blog posts or tweets or anything online, videos and that kind of content, allows me to engage 24/7. Because those bits of content are now out there and they're engaging for me even when I'm here visiting with you or at this conference today or any of these other types of events. I'm picked up by other areas and say, hey, we want Mike to come speak here and here, and I have these opportunities now to engage again. I really want to make sure that, though, I'm engaging and not becoming a broadcast medium. I'm not trying to be a TV station who has lots of viewers. I really want to have that one-on-one engagement, much like you and I are having a conversation now.
This is great. I think the other lesson I'm hearing here is because it's so immediate, it really does appear like a digital version of a continuous conversation you're having with thousands of people.
Right.
And so therefore, you really can't mask your real identity. You really do have to put a lot of work and be yourself. Now, the beauty of being real-time like that is that Twitter or social media mediums allow you to react to certain situations very quickly. And we're here at the Social Media 301 conference, and something happened this afternoon. You want to take us through that? Because I think it's a great example how you can use social media to react and act for the best. For
Absolutely. Yeah, it was interesting. So one of our presenters from T-Mobile, Dan, he talked about Dan Anderson. He talked about how they used a Justin Bieber case study.
Yeah.
And Justin Bieber is obviously very popular on Twitter. Well, there's a lot of bots and porn folks out there on Twitter, and they saw that hashtag that we use, SM301, and the people at the conference said, "Hey, Mike," they were tweeting me saying, "Hey, Mike, let's switch the hashtag for the conference so everybody can follow the tweets to something different, to SMC301, so we can avoid the spammers who have now taken over the stream." And I thought to myself, let me not respond to that and just see what the crowd's reaction will be. And it was a conscious decision. I wanted to see, would the group decide to do this without my permission, okay, which is fine. Sure enough, they did. And after about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, they switched to the new hashtag, and once they did, I said, okay, I'm here with you. And so the crowd switched over, and it was just phenomenal to watch that. We don't have to ask permission anymore. We are in control of the brand, we're in control of the messaging, and we can kind of lead things in a new direction. Dell does this, for example, where they use this platform called IdeaStorm, where they get clients to say, what's great about our products, what would you like to see improved, and they gather ideas from hundreds of people all over the world, crowdsourcing in new ways. You see that crowdthink really happening, and you're going to see innovation happen faster. You're going to see products come to market faster, more quickly, and you know that you've got a ready-made market for those products.
This is an interesting best practice as you think about using social media and really using the power of the crowd. I think what's embedded in everything you're saying, this conference, and I know you've met lots of people via serendipity of just online, or even the example of Dell, is I think they've created a culture that's open to feedback like that. And I think that's where you can then start using the crowd as a part of your company as well to help you get better. Now, another key message here is you can be in the activities of Twitter, and so sometimes it's really hard to measure your impact or your influence. And that's why we created this application. It allows you inside Excel to give you Twitter feedback. And so this application is going to be available for free here. You've started to take a look at it. Tell me what you think about the application and how you want people to use it.
First of all, I love the idea that it's clean. I'm looking at the application now, and the data is prevalent, right? As a manager and a president of a company, I want to see things quickly and aggregated well, and I see that already. And you can see what tweets are popular, what's getting people's attention. May I relate this to music for just a moment?
Sure, absolutely.
I used to be a drummer, I still am, but and I used to be a DJ, very active. And once in a while, you'd play one song, and you'd say, wow, this B-52 song is really working this crowd in a great way. And then you'd play that same song for a different crowd, and it would fall completely flat. And you're like, what's the difference? These types of tools allow you to say, okay, what content is driving traffic? What content is the crowd responding to? And then you can change up the message, change up the beat, change up the music to engage the crowds you want to engage with.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. That's a great example of not just the message, but the audience and the timing. Timing, I guess, is everything. And the metric allow you to figure that out.
Correct. And
this I could stay here for hours, Mike. But we have to go, but thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Where do people go if they want to continue the conversation with you?
For me, I'm at mikewhitmore.com. That's my personal blog. And the blog that I wrote for Deborah is actually being looked at Simon & Schuster to being published. So hopefully that'll happen soon.
All right, well, we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much.
Until next time, I'm Bruno Ziza.